For thousands of years, we Irish have asked questions. Why is the sky blue? What's hiding in the depths of the ocean? What happens when you put crisps in bread? What happens? Crisp sandwich, a stroke of Irish genius. We've explored the possibilities of our world, from listening to the stars to a priest who invented the induction coil. Yeah, and that led to the X-ray, saving lives with beams of light. And the hollow needle. Yeah, the hollow needle, it was invented in Ireland. Irish innovation takes many forms. And yet, we're just getting started. The future of Irish science is hoovering up carbon dioxide, developing new mathematical formulas, treating breast cancer and dementia, creating next-gen batteries, building life-saving apps, detecting deepfake AI systems, creating smart waste testing, reducing detecting AI-generated tech. The future of Irish science is you.
Hello there!
Hello, everybody!
All right!
Hello!
All right! Woo! We are on, we are here, this is happening. How is everybody feeling? Yeah, well, let me tell you, the excitement is only going to build. You are all so welcome to the 62nd Young Scientists and Technology Exhibition and the first ever Stripe Young Scientists and Technology Exhibition. Yeehaw!
Overlook Thomas beat a bheith an seo le bhíonn agus tású lein go bhainne sibh ansalt as an tachtain seo. We're absolutely buzzing to kick off a jam-packed week of science, and I'm sure you are too.
Yes, we are. You know, we've opened the Young Scientists for, it's written up there how many years, I don't want to say. We don't count. It's been about 16, but I'm going to tell you honestly, every year is amazing, but this year you are truly in for a special treat.
Yes, this year is a landmark one. After 25 years at the helm, the board of the Young Scientist and Technology Exhibition have appointed a new title sponsor, and they are called Stripe.
Which we are delighted about. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Stripe. I'm sure you know plenty about them, and you've got to meet some of them already. But Stripe builds financial services for businesses that run online. So, if you've ever bought something from Amazon, or the GAA, or Nando's, hands up.
Starting to feel hungry.
Come on. There's not two people in the room who've ordered food from Nando's. Yeah, there we go. Let's tell the truth. Or indeed millions of other companies that sell online. That payment has probably ran through Stripe.
The founders of Stripe are two Irish brothers, Patrick and John Collison, and they competed in the Young Scientist over 20 years ago. So it's amazing to have them back.
Yes, on this very stage in the year 2005, Patrick stood here as the winner of the competition before he and his brother John went on to build Stripe.
It is a brilliant example of what students who take part in the Stripe Young Scientist can go on to achieve.
Now, I'm sure you know over the year, getting your projects ready, it's an incredibly competitive competition. So to be selected, to be here to exhibit, you are already, all you people here in the room, one of the top young scientists from across Ireland and indeed Northern Ireland. So well done.
Yeah, you should be very, very proud of your achievement. Well done, everybody.
Come on!
And just make sure that you make the most of the opportunities this week, whether it's learning something new, meeting like-minded people, or thinking about maybe what you want to do next, about your future.
And also having fun at the disco. Don't forget that. That's
very important. That's number one.
Great crack. Now, speaking of what you want to do next, we are about to welcome our very first speaker to the stage. So will you give a huge round of applause to the chair of the board of the Young Scientists and Technology Exhibition, Professor Pat Guiry.
A gwnúise, a corda as a viclain, fáilte ribh Stripe taspántas na nóg ólathe agus a decnóla, gámhíle is fithe sé. Distinguished guests, friends and students, a big welcome to the Stripe Young Scientists and Technology Exhibition 2026. This year's exhibition marks another milestone in a journey that has spanned more than 60 years. It is a story of discovery, creativity, and inspiration, a tradition that has helped shape Ireland's scientific and technological landscape. Since its establishment, the exhibition has been guided by the vision of its founders, the Reverend Dr. Tom Burke and Dr. Tony Scott, who you can see pictured here. Dr. Tom on the left, Dr. Tony on the right. They're both physicists then in University College Dublin. Their belief was simple yet transformative, that young people, like you, given the right platform, could ignite ideas that change the world. Today, that belief continues to thrive under the stewardship of the Young Scientists and Technology Exhibition Limited, a charity founded in 2005, which oversees and governs this national institution, ensuring it continues to thrive and grow while safeguarding its legacy for the future, and one that I am honoured to be part of as chair of the board since 2018. Last year, as you know, we celebrated the 25th year with BT Ireland as the title sponsor and organiser. But when they stepped down in February 2025, our board had the responsibility to appoint the new title sponsor. And after a rigorous 3-month process, we were delighted to announce Stripe as the new title sponsor and organiser of this exhibition. This is a wonderful first full circle story, as you've heard, as Patrick Collison, the CEO of Stripe, was the overall winner of the Young Scientists and Technology Exhibition in 2005. And John Collison, his brother, was now president of Stripe, was a category winner. It is great to have Patrick with us here later for the exhibition. In another change, our board moved from an oversight role to an executive function, hiring Mary Cahalan and Catherine Chalmia, who are central to delivering during the BT era. I thank them for the important role they have played over the past 7 months, working with the board and the excellent team that Stripe have put in place. So a heartfelt thanks to Stripe, whose commitment as title sponsors in this, their first year of partnership, signals a bold new chapter. Stripe's involvement is more than just financial support, it is a shared belief in the power of young innovators to shape the future. Their global perspective, rooted in technology and entrepreneurship, aligns perfectly with the exhibition's mission to inspire students to think ambitiously and act courageously. We are also proud as a board to have formally extended licenses to Jordan and Kenya, both founded in the last number of years, extending the exhibition's reach internationally. We are delighted to welcome members of their boards, organisers, students and teachers who join us here today, sharing in this celebration of science and innovation. The strength of this exhibition in Ireland lies in the community that sustains it. Judges safeguard the integrity of the process of shortlisting and selection of awardees through fairness and transparency. Sponsors, including our longtime supporters like the Department of Education and Youth, teachers, volunteers, mentors, and a big hello to the Stripe Redcoats. Have you met the Stripe Redcoats yet? Big cheer for the Stripe Redcoats and Bluecoats. All of the aforementioned people play vital roles in ensuring the exhibition's a success. And finally, and most importantly, to the students. Reaching the RDS is itself a remarkable achievement. It reflects months of dedication, creativity, and resilience. Each entry reflects the courage to ask questions, the determination to explore answers, and the joy of sharing knowledge. Whether or not you take home an award, you've already succeeded. By daring to explore, by sharing your ideas, and by becoming part of this extraordinary community of young scientists and technologists, you have been a success. Your journey begins here, and the future is yours to shape. Have a great exhibition. Good luck with all the judges today and tomorrow. I'll meet some of you. Enjoy the next few days. Have a great time. And Gorif Mila Mahoguf Galer. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Nice. Our first speaker, thank you so much to Professor Guiry. Now, it's clear that the board's passion for this exhibition hasn't dimmed one bit after 6 decades.
It's very exciting to start a new chapter in the long history of this competition. We've talked about Stripe being the new sponsor, but now it's time to hear a little bit more from them.
Yes, we are very excited. We are about to be joined by a man who sat where you are, as we mentioned earlier, 21 years ago, Stripe co-founder and former Young Scientist winner, Patrick Collison. Now, Patrick was planning to be on this very stage in this room with us today, but alas, he has been thwarted by the weather gods. Snow has bound his planes somewhere in Europe. But Stripe do technology, and we do have Zoom, so Patrick is going to join us virtually instead. And he's going to be also promising you, because he can't be physically with you today. He's going to do a special Q&A tomorrow, and that's going to give you guys an opportunity to ask him anything you want. So when Patrick gets to Dublin, he'll let you know more about that.
For now, he's going to be joined in conversation by Jack O'Regan Kenny. Jack took part in the Young Scientist 3 times himself and then went on to run the startup accelerator Patch. He's now working on new ways to protect crops and help farmers make a living.
So, ladies and gentlemen, will you please give a big virtual welcome to Patrick and Jack.
Hello, Patrick. Thanks so much for joining us virtually.
It's a huge honor to be here.
So I think there's one big question in everyone's kind of mind as they came in here today, well, at least in some people's, and that's, what is Stripe?
Stripe builds, well, we say financial infrastructure for the internet. And what we mean by that is all of the plumbing beneath the surface that's required to orchestrate transactions, to help projects become businesses, and then to help companies around the world scale globally. That's what we started out doing about 15 years ago. And it's a particularly exciting time right now because obviously AI is reshaping everything. And today we work with humans and businesses, but we're thinking very hard, about what the AIs and what the agents are going to need, and what the broader change in the economic landscape is going to look like.
Okay, wow. And aside from the obvious, why does Stripe want to sponsor the Young Scientist?
Well, there's sort of personal reasons, and then there's Stripe reasons. The Young Scientist was a huge event and a huge kind of presence in my life, and in John's. It was the first time, I think, that school is great, but it's a prescribed set of train tracks, right? Yeah. And it's hard to do something wholly unorthodox. And the Young Scientist was the first time where I feel like I had the chance to do something of my own volition, something that I thought was interesting, just for its own sake, and then to have other people take it seriously. And that was just for me, that was a very big deal. So I feel it changed my life. I don't think I'd be where I am without it. It's because of the Young Scientist that I had the chance to first travel to the US back in 2005, and then everything kind of followed from that. And then from a Stripe point of view, I mean, we work with the most innovative people and innovative companies around the world, and we it's the most fun and rewarding part of Stripe. And we think that Ireland has so much potential. And so it's why we do immersive software engineering at UL. And if anyone in the room is not familiar with it, you should check it out. It's a great course. It's why we're so excited to work with Patch. And it's why we're here at the Young Scientist. I think that Irish talent and Irish people compare very favorably with any other country, any other place in the world. I've traveled a lot around the world, and I now say that with conviction and confidence. And so for us, it's a huge honor to be able to support it.
Amazing. I think having gone through it myself, I can relate to a lot of that. One thing you did do that unfortunately I didn't is you won the Young Scientist a number of years ago, but you entered twice. You won on your second time. What did you change between those 2 years?
Well, look, there's always, I'm sure, some amount of luck, but I definitely worked harder the second time. Like the first time, I didn't know anything about it. I didn't really know what to expect. It was kind of hard to calibrate. And the second time, I feel like I had a better sense for what the standard was. And it's I think in many things, hard work is not sufficient. In that there are lots of other factors that go into success, including luck. But in most domains that I've looked at, I think it is necessary. And second time round, I worked really hard.
Yeah, cool. And like, you do seem to deeply care about science, both from your own work and supporting it as well. You've been working on removing bottlenecks with the ARC Institute, which hopefully you can tell us a bit about, and FAST grants. So across this theme, like, what is the problem you see or that you're trying to solve by supporting these things?
Sure. So, Stripe works, as you just heard, in software, technology, and financial services, but I love science. And when I was in school, I thought I'd become a scientist. Fast Grants was a project that we started during COVID to rapidly distribute funding to scientists who are trying to repurpose their work for things relevant to the pandemic. And we started because the traditional legacy institutions, the funding bodies that would normally support this kind of work, they were sort of too slow to adapt. And so, the premise of Fast Grants is we made funding decisions in 48 hours rather than in the months that one of these existing bodies would normally take. And we ended up funding a bunch of work that ended up, I think, being quite important. I mean, my favorite one is, in the beginning we were getting these, the swabs, tickling our brain cells. One of the projects that Fast Grants funded showed that saliva tests work just as well. And so we were able to switch to those. And then the ARC Institute, which I founded with my wife, who, by the way, I met at the European Young Scientist competition, it's a non-profit organization focused on biology, and there's kind of two ideas behind it. One, we're trying to bring the possibilities of AI to biology, which requires kind of different ways of organizing. And then secondly, we're trying to cure a complex disease. We don't have time to go into all the details, but you can kind of divide human diseases into three categories. There's infectious diseases like COVID, the flu, the cold, whatever. There are monogenic diseases, they're called, like Huntington's. There's like one genetic variant. You can screen for those. And then pretty much everything else is a complex disease. There's some interaction between the environment and your genes, and it's some complicated process. So most cancers, most neurological diseases, most autoimmune diseases, etc. Humanity has never cured a complex disease. We've worked really hard. We've made amazing breakthroughs in medicine. We have never cured a single complex disease. And so with ARC, obviously don't know if we're going to make any, if it's going to work, but the goal is to try. And we started it 4 years ago. And so, check back in year 10 maybe, and we'll be able to give a proper update.
Great. I'm very thankful for the saliva tests, by the way. So outside of the complex diseases and the immediate work that the ARC Institute doing, are there any big scientific or technological challenges and that you find yourself kind of excited about solving? Or you could give to people in this room to solve?
Look, there's so many. I think the thing that's so the sort of the mental model that I had, when I was in school was, we kind of understand all the things, and it's really fun to learn about them and to maybe come to understand how our understanding developed. But we've largely sort of checked the boxes. Whereas when you get deeper into it, I think that it's much closer to we don't know anything. We don't know why people sleep. We don't know how sleep works. Just one of the most basic phenomena in the existence of humanity. We spend a third of our time doing this thing, and we don't know what's going on. I was recently thinking about thunderstorms, and I just realized that I didn't have a great understanding of what exactly is going on in a thunderstorm. And as you dig into it, you realize, you start reading some papers, we don't really know exactly why thunderstorms form. And we can say all these things about static electricity and lightning and all the rest, but if thunderstorms didn't exist, we don't know enough to predict them. So I think the right mental model is sort of much more this beginner's mind. Humanity is still much closer to the starting line. It's bad news in the sense that if you the cold, we haven't solved the cold, one of the most basic afflictions of our existence. So, it's kind of bad news that we're still in the starting blocks. But then the good news is if you're ever worried, all the big problems have been solved. No, absolutely not. Nothing's been solved. Everything is still in play.
Cool. Yeah, having grown up in Limerick and spending a lot of time in Ireland, are there any when you look or you dig into papers, are there any underrated Irish scientists or inventors or technologists that you think we should know about?
Well, the one I've been thinking about recently is the, I don't know if this is a formally agreed upon term, but let's just go with it. The Irish Enlightenment, and in particular, the Irish economists and thinkers before Adam Smith. And I think you can make a pretty good claim that the Irish thinkers, economists, maybe 1700 to 1776, when Adam Smith published Wealth of Nations, were the leading economists in the world. And a lot of the most foundational ideas. So Richard Cantillon, Irish, he devised the word entrepreneur, or applied it, and it's kind of in its contemporary sense, and kind of appreciated that entrepreneurship was a significant contributor to economic dynamism. But we Jonathan Swift, excuse me, we'd Edmund Burke. There are sort of many in this lineage. And of course, the RDS itself, to some extent, sits in this larger Irish tradition of thinking intentionally and deliberately about improvements and useful knowledge. And so Ireland, I didn't learn a lot about this in school, I'll say, but I think when you pull on the thread a bit, Ireland has a very rich history here.
Great. And then sticking with school, back when you were like a teenager, were there places you went, books you read, people who like inspired you to kind of find ideas outside of your school or your town? I assume the Young Scientist. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, no. The Young Scientist certainly is top of that list. But so my first project at the Young Scientist was a little AI agent. It was called Isaac. It did not use deep learning or neural networks, and so it did not catalyze the AI revolution that has ensued over the last couple of years. But the problem was very appealing, and it was called Isaac because of Isaac Asimov, the science fiction writer. And Isaac Asimov, before he was a science fiction writer, was a scientist, and he wrote this incredible book, Isaac Asimov's New Guide to Science. And it's an incredible book because it sort of surveys all of science, but it's not really a popular science book. It's a survey of all of science written by an actual scientist, and he undertakes to summarize mathematics and chemistry and physics, like the whole thing. And it was probably the single most influential book I read as a teenager.
Okay. And I know previously you've accredited the internet a significant amount to your finding of ideas. Is there any advice you have for people in this room for maximizing their usage of the internet to learn or grow or build things?
I mean, the main thing I think I'd say is, well, two, I suppose. One, to really follow your curiosity. I'm not anti-school. I actually did a great time at school. I enjoyed it. But school is not principally designed to help you figure out what you're most interested in. It's sort of taking a roster, an assembly of stuff that people believe will be useful, and imparting it to you. And so I think just cultivating that taste and that sense for, well, what's interesting to me? Because, okay, there's lots of unsolved problems, but none of them are going to sort of give up their answers readily or easily. You're only going to get there with real tenacity. And so that requires figuring out, well, what do I really care about? And what am I willing to pursue for conceivably many years? So I mean, just using the internet to kind of cultivate your interest, figure out what it is that appeals to you. And then secondly, to kind of keep in mind that teenagers can do great things. Like Gauss and Pascal and Galois, they made significant contributions to mathematics as teenagers. Braille was invented when he was a teenager in technology. Aaron Swartz created RSS when he was 14. Vitalik wrote the white paper for Ethereum when he was 19. And so again, one sort of has this sense as a teenager that, well, I'm treading in the footprints of others through the snow, but you can chart your own direction, and you can do real important things as a teenager.
Amazing. And last one before we wrap up. For students that want to keep learning, building, experimenting, what should they next do? Or is there anything that's available to them now that wasn't when you wrapped up at the Young Scientist?
Well, the ability to chat with the language models is certainly a huge tailwind, and the combination of an intense curiosity in some direction, coupled with the kind of comprehension that they can impart, I think that can turn the spark of an interest into a real conflagration.
Amazing. I think so. Everyone should go home and just spend hours on ChatGPT.
Well, it's one dimension, one component of I think coming to understand a new area in substantial depth. But I think the main thing is just this idea of figuring out what you're interested in and then setting your sights high. You can do great work.
That's a great note for us to end on. And back to main stage.
Awesome.
Thanks so much for your time.
Nice one. Wonderful. That worked great. Brilliant. Thank you, guys.
What a fantastic conversation. It is so inspiring to think about all the contributions that Ireland has made to science and technology over the decades and the big challenges that are still left to solve.
Absolutely, and what a relief it is that we have so many young, talented young scientists ready to roll up their sleeves and solve these meaty problems. The work that all of you do is going to be critical for Ireland's future, and that is recognised at the very highest levels of our society.
It certainly is, and we have a very special guest here today whose presence underlines the national importance of this event. Is mór an honor dún fása a chur ribh uachtarán na hÉireann atá linn ag an Stripe ólaíoga den chéad uair mar uachtarán. We are honoured to welcome the new President of Ireland who joins us for her first ever appearance at the Young Scientist.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding and welcome Uachtarán na hÉireann, Catherine Connolly.
Díomh cóide agus gur a míle mágah a sucht an áilse críúil sin. Tá sé beag an Jackar lena sailse ach Jenny mé mo dhíhel. It's a little difficult with the lights, but I'll do my best. Is even lom a bheith an seo live san RDS ag gradam Stripe ólaí óg agus taspántas technoliaachta fiche sé. Má chéadúr an seo mar uachtarán, ach bhí mé an seo mar cheachta dála an ura, ach is privilege maithe sa maithe a bheith areis an seo mar uachtarán na hÉireann. Is ócáid fíor spreagúil í agus guiam gachra oribh na micléin ar fad atá ranpáirteach I go mórtas na bliana seo fiche sé. Tuigim an obair mhór, an taide agus an ólam atá déanta a gibh lóg ar fad chun an éag seo a bhaintse maith. Tuigim freisin nach féidir a lehéide bhaintse maith gan cabhair a bheith ar fáil. So ní mórdam buíochas a gháil libhse múntóirí agus na tiismóthirí lóg a thug cuidiú agus tóchas agus is tótha muiníonn freisin don na daoine óga spreagúla atá linn inniu agus iad ag galbhú a síthar don comórtas is léir agus tá sé tharbheith soléir go nearna sibse múntóirí agus tiismóthirí sár-job freisin. Ní léon doubt ach go mbíonn meitheal olmhóirí gceist in agrú imeachta den scála seo, agus tréaslim lo siúd fad a bhí agus tá banseach leis. Is áthar dóchas don taucaí na deisina seo a bheith curtha fáil dar glún óg. I'm delighted to be back here. I have been here before as a TD, and I'm delighted, and it's an absolute privilege to be back as the 10th President of this beautiful country. And I want to thank you all for the very warm welcome you've given me. And also, I'm really looking forward to engaging with you and seeing the projects on the ground. Míle buíochas. The Young Scientist and Technology Exhibition, and you're the experts here, is an important event in the annual calendar for secondary school students to demonstrate their creativity, their ingenuity and knowledge. The projects, and I've only been reading about them, and I look forward to engaging with you in relation to them, but the projects on display that are going to be on display for the rest of the week are absolutely wonderful, and the range is very impressive. And they are the wonderful end to the rigorous application of the scientific method on the subjects and the areas of interest that you have chosen. Equally importantly, however, this annual event serves as an opportunity to put science and technology themselves under the microscope, and indeed to pose the question, what conclusions might or will society come to following a rigorous application of that same scientific method to science and technology itself as subjects? More specifically, what questions are being asked? What data is being collected? The nature of the analysis carried out and the conclusions that are being drawn and will be drawn, for what purpose and for whose benefit. Clearly, in my opinion, there needs to be an open and honest debate on these issues so that science and technology can be a part and an essential part of the transformative change required to meet the interconnected challenges of our time. Climate change, irreversible climate change, biodiversity loss, the normalization of war, forced displacement, global hunger and poverty. Transformative action is required, and transformative change, but it cannot be achieved, much and all as we like to believe it can, through science and technology alone. It's simply not possible to effect the transformative change through science and technology alone. We need a paradigm shift. It is urgently needed, and that paradigm shift requires an interdisciplinary approach encompassing science and technology, absolutely, but also the arts and humanities. Nowhere is the need for this interdisciplinary approach more evident than if we take climate change and view it through the lens of climate justice perspective. The climate crisis then becomes not a scientific problem to be solved solely with technological solutions, but a system of structural and systematic problems in our societies and economies. Problems that are resulting in the concentration of wealth and power among more and more unaccountable interests, and that are increasingly posing a serious challenge to our democratic processes throughout the world. I absolutely believe that science and technology have the greatest potential to serve the common good, but it is important to remember that they are not neutral in their purpose or application. The choice of topic chosen, as you found out yourself, depends on a number of things. And the purpose of the topic chosen is also very significant. That is why the decisions you make as young people regarding the areas that you pursue for further study, investigation, and exploration are critically important. It is equally to remember that in setting out on a scientific, I beg your pardon, I'm just suffering from a little bug, which I'm almost over, but it's just creating a little problem for me, and there's no scientific solution to it, only bed rest, unfortunately. And I didn't get a chance to complete the bed rest, but I'm delighted to be here. But the choice of scientific topic and its purpose is very significant. And as I was saying, the decisions you make regarding what you study are critically important. It is equally also important to remember that setting out on a scientific journey, as you have done and hopefully will continue to do, we often learn as much from our mistakes and also by serendipity. And I think in particular of many, many discoveries through serendipity and through learning from mistakes. And Alexander Fleming stands out, and Röntgen stands out, and many, many other examples. And I think it's important also to keep that in mind. I stand here with hope for the future, notwithstanding the tremendous challenges that we face. And I get that hope from ye as young people, from your creativity, and from your honesty, and from your dedication to your subjects. And as I said, the whole range of subjects that are here to be seen this week. And my hope is also in the future, which, as the United Nations General Secretary has said, there must be a full respect for international law, including the United Nations Charter and the rule of law. And the recent loss of lives in Venezuela is appalling and is often overlooked in the debate. Maradúirtme is ábhar dóchas domsa agus dó siúd fad a bhfuil de privilege acu siúl I bhur measc ag an taspántas seo bhur sihir agus bhur gruchahocht eáil. Tugann sé dóchas Maradúirtme I méarla, tugann sé dóchas dúin go maith ar muinsear, ar dír agus ar planad slán, mar bhfuil daoine óga mar sibse ag teacht chun cin le smuoinse, le planana agus le réití chun tabhairt faoi gúchláin na socaí, na héráide agus an domhan. Nar lagaí bhur lú nó bhur misneach agus cógáirdeachas ó crí libh barbúacht is barbannacht agus míle buchas as ucht bhur sihir. I'd forgotten the water was under the table. I discovered it too late. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Agus tá muid fear bhuíoch go bhfuil tú linn inniu agus fair play goit as bhelinn agus who bróta gur míle mágat.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, please be upstanding. Uachtarán na Héireann, President Catherine Connolly.
What a privilege to have our new president here with us today.
Indeed, what an honour. So, how's everyone doing so far? Settling in, enjoying yourselves, getting familiar with the RDS and what lies ahead this week? Yeah? Okay. All right, let's find out where some of you are from. Where's the gang from Munster?
kind of up the sides. Interesting.
Where's the gang from? You want to go your way?
Yeah, Connacht!
Oh, that was it. Oh, okay.
And
They've put it up to you.
how proud are we that the president is from Connacht as well?
All right,
we're just winning.
Okay,
we're winning.
Okay, right, what about the gang from Ulster? Where are ye? And who are the ones from down the road and outside of Dublin? From Leinster! Yeah, all right.
So some very, very, very enthusiastic people from Leinster. It's all good. You're all very welcome. Now, as we were saying there, what an incredible honour it has been to have the President here. And it really does drive home just how important the work you are doing this week is, not just for your schools, but it is for the entire country.
Yeah, and as we said, getting here is a massive achievement in itself, and we want to take a moment to celebrate that, because standing here looking out at the hall, you do really get a sense of the anticipation. There's a vibe, there's a feeling in the room, Ro.
There definitely is, and there's a specific energy that you only get at the Young Scientist. It's the raw energy of things being built, and that's why we're all so lucky to be here today.
It is indeed, and that's why we're so excited that Stripe have taken over as title sponsorship. Now, as you heard earlier, they are a company built by people like you who are obsessed with solving problems and building things that work.
Our next speaker is one of Stripe's leaders. Please give a massive welcome to Stripe's Chief Revenue Officer, Eileen O'Mara.
So thank you, Roisin, and thank you, Aidan, and thank you to all of the students here. I've had a good walk around the exhibition hall, and your projects are unbelievable. I hope you have an amazing week. So getting here isn't too easy. As we all know, the application process is incredibly competitive, and you should all be really, really proud that you've gotten this far. Some of you have spent months researching. You've been building, testing, and then some of you have started all over again and scrapped those original projects. Some of you have worked outside in the rain and the snow, and you've spent weeks cold emailing for lab space and equipment. So you've all earned your places here this week. It could be your first time competing, or it could be your fourth. You might be here with a group, you might be here with classmates, you could actually be the only person from your school. But whatever your story is, this week, you have cemented your position as one of the most talented students across the country. So please, if you have any nerves, shake them off now. This is going to be an amazing week for you all, and you need to make the most of the opportunity. This is your chance to meet students and make new friends, fellow researchers and inventors who are curious about the same things as you, who are looking to solve some of the biggest and smallest problems across the world. So I encourage you to go and visit other stands, share your ideas and your projects, and be curious and ask some great questions. You never know, you might meet your future co-founders or your collaborators just here at the exhibition this week. So speaking of incredible, talented students, it's time to hear from last year's winners. 3 amazing sisters from County Kerry who built a medical assistance app that gives emergency healthcare responders the information they need in critical situations. So can you give a warm welcome for last year's winners, Ciara, Saoirse, and Leisha Murphy. Hello. You're back. We're back. Oh my God, you've had an amazing year. I'm really curious for you to share with everyone. Tell us what the year has been like since you were here last year when you took, obviously, the mega prize.
Well, so far we've had an absolutely amazing year that we're so grateful for. And we've got so many opportunities that will stick with us for life. And we've travelled to Japan and Latvia for the European Union Contest for Young Scientists, and we enjoyed all of them thoroughly. In Japan, we travelled to 3 cities, which were Osaka, Tokyo, and Kyoto.
Was that your first time to Japan?
That was our first time to Japan.
Amazing, yeah. Amazing.
And it was really amazing for us because, I'm able to say now that I travelled to Japan as a 13-year-old, and it's just crazy to be able to say that. But we really enjoyed that our trip to Japan because we got to meet new people, make new friends, and we got to learn about the culture and history and try new cuisine from Japan, and we just really loved it overall.
Oh, that's great. So Japan must have been one of the highlights, was it?
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Well, of course, not only did you win, you had a great year, you met lots of new people, but I mean, a lot of people here today are exhibiting for the very first time. So it'd be wonderful if you could share with them, like, how should they prepare themselves? I mean, there's going to be judges, of course, but also the public are going to be coming and curious about what their projects are. What advice do you have for everyone here to calm those nerves?
I think my biggest piece of advice is to really take advantage of this week and enjoy every moment. The Young Scientist and Technology Exhibition truly is one of the most special events in the world, and winning it meant so much to us. It was such a big dream of ours, and it came true. And I think the opportunities and the connections that people make throughout their time participating in the Young Scientist are truly invaluable. I think that was something that we especially took out of the Young Scientist, and now I think going on into the future we're so excited for everything to come, but it really did give us that foundation of learning how to build and learning the process of making an app and how to develop a project.
Yeah.
And I think if I was to give advice to the students, is really don't be nervous about the judges. I know it's daunting at times.
Because it is nerve-wracking.
Yeah, definitely, and that's absolutely understandable, especially if there's anyone who it might be their first time participating. But I think the fantastic thing about the judges is that they are industry leaders, they are the experts in their field. There is no better person you could be speaking to about your chosen topic. So really enjoy those moments, because you're speaking with somebody who's as passionate about that field as you are. So enjoy it as much as the nerves can be there. Just try to make them dissipate. You know, they will, after especially the first judging, you'll get to be more relaxed and you'll get to enjoy it. But enjoy making friends, make new connections, speak to the people around you. And for anyone who's considering to further develop their project, I would wholeheartedly advise you to, because for myself and the girls, when we entered in 2024 and won the overall group runner-up award, it was a critical component that we took into account was the judges' feedback.
The judges' feedback.
Exactly, and that was really how we decided to further develop and refine the project, the product, and that was a large element then in 2025.
That's great. I know when we spoke, you all shared with me, you was like, gosh, on Monday was really nerve-wracking, but actually after the third day, you were like totally relaxed. So the judges are here to help everyone. They want everyone to be successful. So that's the feedback. Just don't be nervous and enjoy the experience. Okay, but it's not all work this week. There's a lot of other stuff around the exhibition. So, I mean, I know you had a lot of fun last year here. What would you advise people? What should they be thinking about to make the most of the exhibition and, of course, like really enjoy the experience outside of the judging process? What were the highlights?
I would just say do everything, talk to everyone around you, make as many new connections as possible, because it really is the most phenomenal event and it's full of so many incredible opportunities, and I feel like it's really important that you avail of every single one of them, because they will stand to you. Even like what we did last year will stand to us forever, and I feel it's so important and it's so fantastic to have an event like this available to you. So I would just say try everything.
Including the discos?
Especially the discos.
It's important to take time after all of your hard work for months, potentially maybe for a few years now. Do take the time to enjoy yourselves, because they are the memories that will stay with you for life. The Young Scientist is such a special occasion. It is one of the highlights of our lives, and I think it's a credit to Stripe, BT, the board, the platform and the opportunities that are facilitated for students, because it really does make the world of a difference.
Brilliant, brilliant. And I know, speaking to your parents, they've told me that you have friends now all over the world and that you're inundated with invites all over the country and all over the world. So that's an important part of this week for everyone, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, there's endless boundaries with the Young Scientist. Like, we have friends up and down the country now and across the world. And I think both personally, you make connections with fellow exhibitors and then also on a professional level with the stakeholders and industry leaders and the judges. And it's really invaluable to have that experience in secondary school at the age that you're at. I mean, it really exposes you to the most incredible world of innovation and entrepreneurship that exists outside of school, as Patrick Collison was saying. And I think we would wholeheartedly agree that we've learned so many essential skills for life through the Young Scientist that we wouldn't necessarily have learned in school.
Yeah.
Definitely, and like the girls and I have already said, if you're taking at least one thing away from here, make friends. If you mightn't walk away with an award, but you should be proud of yourselves. And if you walk away with friends, you'll still have many connections, and it's just so enjoyable if you make the most of it.
Well, I think you're three amazing role models. We're so delighted that you could make it back and share your experience and your insights with everyone here. Thank you so much. Let's give a big hand for Ciara, Saoirse and Laoise Murphy. Thank you.
Wonderful stuff. Thank you, Eileen.
Thank you, ladies.
Great to see the guys. I tell you what, every time I hear Ciara, Saoirse and Laoise speak, I feel I need to go home and, I don't know, be smarter or invent something. Incredible stuff, and congrats on all your success.
I can't wait to see what you invent, Aidan. It'll be good.
I have till Friday.
Incredible stuff. Now, look, we've exercised the brain cells and we've been inspired, but I think now it's time for the grand finale, don't you?
You ready for that? You ready for that? All righty. Now, the Stripe Young Scientist exhibition is all about celebrating Irish talent, and we have some seriously talented musicians coming up for you now. Just like a lot of your projects here, this band started out as an idea in secondary school, and then they spent their first few years jamming in the garage. I don't know if that's what you guys did for your projects, but they did that.
And look at them now. They're here with us on the stage. Since winning the UCC Battle of the Bands, they've been unstoppable, playing everywhere, from Royal Hospital Kilmainham here in Dublin to Glastonbury, Leeds and Reading.
Which is mighty impressive. They come all the way today from Cork to play for you. So, will you get on your feet? Let's have some crack. Let's have some music. Make some noise for RTE's 2FM rising act, Cliffords.
much. Some of you can. Better. Here we go. Here we go. That's better. Here we. Oh, here we go. Thank you very much. Good luck. Shout out to anyone here from Ballincollig. Good luck.
All right. Nicely done.
That was sensational.
was
I
that?
want them to stay for more. Let's give it up one more time for Clifford.
Well done, guys. That was tight. Tight as glue. Amazing stuff. Right, what a way to kick things off, and a massive thank you to everyone who has joined us today. To Patrick, from wherever in the world he is. He will be here tomorrow. Also to Jack, to Pat, to Eileen, to the Murphy sisters, and of course, to President Connolly.
But now it is time to get this event started. We've heard from founders, scientists, and rock stars today. But for the rest of the week, the stage belongs to all of you.
Yes, indeed. We are itching to get back. I know you're itching to get back. We're itching to get back here on Friday. I know you want to get back to your stands, get ready for the judges. So we wish you well. You can head back to your stands now in a minute. This is almost a lifetime of work for some of you that you've put into it. So we just want to wish you the very best this week. We will see you on Friday, and have fun.
All right, guys, best luck to every single one of you. Let's get this exhibition started.
Good luck, guys.